Welcome to Hameen Loyal. This is Eric Grissom.
And I'm Dan Johnson. Eric and I will be rewatching the iconic Twin Peaks from the pilot through the return and everything in between.
If this is your first time watching, or if you're a longtime fan, you can watch along with us as we dive deep into the strange and wonderful world of Twin Peaks.
We live inside a dream.
Today on Meanwhile, Dan, we are talking about demons. We're exercising our demons on the Peloton of love. We're going to get out there. We're going to get sweaty and hot and exercise those demons. I feel like it would be great if I ripped off my shirt and I had one of those headbands on.
Yeah.
What was that guy's name? Is he dead? Richard Simmons?
Richard Simmons?
Is he gone?
That was the big question. Was he dead or not? I don't even know what the answer was. Someone figured it out.
I think
we
did
collectively.
pass away. R.I.P. Richard Simmons. No, we're not here to talk about Richard Simmons. We're here to talk about our Patreon. We have a Patreon that you can sign up for. No, I say that because we just released the Wild at Heart episode. If you wanted to hear me talking about Wild at Heart for an hour, I also want to talk a bit about memory. How we remember the past, what really happened, what we think happened, and what we tell people happened. And you get 3 different presentations of this throughout the film. If you want to hear Dan and I talking about Donahue for an hour, what was it like seeing Leo's hair? No, we'll eventually get to Eric.
It was really something.
Glorious golden mane of just joy. He seems like a very nice person. But
no, he does seem like a nice person. I would say don't light a match near him though, because the amount of gel in there is like a wick ready to go.
We have you. You're covered. You got the good stuff, and who knows what's coming? More stuff's coming.
If you want to hear about Richard Simmons, who sadly passed away July 13th, 2024. We're not going to be doing that.
The death is still fresh. So fresh I forgot that it happened, but yes.
Yeah, that's grief.
Let's get to it, Dan. I'm very happy to talk about demons. I love demons. Demons is I like Leslie Linka Glatter. She never disappoints. She's a fantastic director. This is Demons. This is episode 13, the 6th episode of season 2. Written by Harley Peyton and Robert Engels. Bob Engels, Harley Peyton, the masterminds of season 2, are together again for the first time, writing us this Demons episode. It's directed by Leslie Linka Glatter. This is her 2nd episode this season. We just saw her not that long ago with The Man Behind the Glass. She followed Lynch's Coma, and now she's going to precede Lynch on Lonely Souls, which is maybe my favorite episode of season. No, it's probably the last one, but it's a fantastic one, and so is this one. It aired on Saturday, November 3rd, 1990 at 10 p.m. Dan, take a guess at what the CBS movie of the week was.
Oh, gosh. Was it timely? Was it ripped from the headlines?
It was actually ripped from the headlines with Rutger Hauer. How did you know that?
Wait, is that the name of it?
Yeah, it's called Ripped from the Headlines.
No, God, I was kidding. No, I meant the genre, meaning it's a story that is...
Yes, no, it's not. It's not Hider in the House either with Gary Busey. It is Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Oh, okay. What?
It says Beverly Hills Cop 2, and then it says repeat. So I guess it's already played, so it's a repeat of Beverly Hills Cop. Doesn't matter. It beat Twin Peaks, as did Carol and Company and American Dreamer. But it doesn't matter because this is Demons. This is a fantastic episode. It moves at such a steady clip. Unless you have anything, let's just jump into the demonic world of Twin Peaks here. A lot of stuff going on.
I will say at the outset, I am very excited to hear why you like this episode so much. That's not to say that I dislike it, but I'm very interested to see why you like it so much. So this will be fun.
Albert found fibers in the hall outside of Cooper's room from a vicuna coat.
Coat was vicuna.
Sounds real good, Sheriff, but I already ate. Also got a lab report from Albert on the one-armer's syringe. Albert's never seen a drug like it, a combo, really weird stuff.
What else does Albert say?
Papers. Papers found near the bloody towel down the train tracks from the crime site. From a diary. Please! There's the one-armer now.
Let's set the stage. A contaminated Harold Smith confronts Donna and Maddie at Shea Orchid, Eric. Last we saw him, he's scraping garden implements down his face. Where are we now?
We're right where we left off. So this feels like a Doctor Who episode, second part of like a Tom Baker arc, in that you're going to start exactly at the cliffhanger moment and you're going to see that whole thing play out. Now, listeners don't realize I cut out of the last episode when we reviewed the last one. I even got mixed up thinking that this scene was in the previous episode. But it's I like the choices that Leslie Linka Glatter makes when she does these. Like we get these shots of the orchids and sort of the delicate nature of the flowers and these close-ups. And later on, after this scene, she does these great shots of just spooky trees and imagery. She's really good at, I think, setting mood and just a general vibe. And you get that as this scene starts. The real note that I have here is like Donna and Lara Flynn Boyle's performance. It feels so strange. Like when he's confronting them and he's already sort of used the the hand rake, the garden weasel on his face.
It's a weed whacker.
He says like, you do this and you laugh at me, and she laughs when he says that. And Cheryl Lee, fantastic. She's in the moment. She's holding Donna. Her eyes are locked on Harold. But Donna seems to be in like this weird dream world where she's sort of weird. I get a weird vibe, especially when she laughs. And it's just I don't know if the acting choice or if she's just supposed to be like losing it. It's a weird, she's got a weird energy in that scene for me.
I don't even remember that laugh. Was it like at the very beginning, whenever he's like, after he scrapes his face and he's coming at them and saying, "You ruined everything," that whole speech?
But you're just like all the others. You lie. And you betray. And then you laugh about it.
After he says, "You laugh at me," she laughs.
I don't remember. Okay. Was it like a nervous laughter type thing? Or was it just like completely out of the blue? Who knows what's going on in her head?
Almost feels like it's like wasn't the scene, like she didn't know they were rolling. Like, watch it again. Right. And
this was a rehearsal take. Okay.
But it makes sense too, because her character is falling apart, and she does have like another insane scene after this when they're outside.
Yeah. I mean, I okay, so I'm with you. The cinematography throughout is great. That slow pan over the orchids, their detail, just really lingering on them, was beautiful. The color is gorgeous, just really setting the tone, and it goes right into this. This is the height of melodrama. This part of what we've seen to this point, and you had mentioned Doctor Who. For all of our listeners here, there's also a Doctor Who podcast. This has the most like Doctor Who melodramatic music with a synth organ in the background. I have that in my notes. It feels like that sort of music really playing up and everything. And, you know, melodrama is literally that. It's the music that's giving you the emphasis here. But yeah, it does feel different from other scenes. I wasn't expecting Harold to go in this direction. You know, that speech that he gives about being unclean, that they've contaminated him, how disappointed he is that he thought he could return to the world. Maybe he really did think, like, through Donna, or maybe it's through the diaries of people that he's been collecting, that he'd eventually find his way back to the world and realize that people aren't whatever they are that drove him to isolate himself like this.
Yeah, I take that at face value. Like, he thinks everyone's shit, and the world is awful, and it's dirty, and he's got this little special place with his special flowers, and he keeps it clean.
Mm-hmm.
and she won him over. Like, it
Yeah.
was a very good story that she told about the skinny dipping, but he believed her. And for a second, he believes that there is innocence, there is purity, and then she betrays him. And
Right.
and to me, like, I love it. I think I liked his speech, like, coming off of the horrible thing where he's gouging his own face with the garden
Yeah.
weasel. I feel bad for him, but again, we've talked about the bike shop energy that comes off of him and whatever. But I don't know. I get the impression not that you found it corny or like just like overly dramatic or
Yeah,
just
maybe
too,
not
yeah.
even overly dramatic, just heightened, very heightened.
Yeah.
To the point where it is this side of parody. So it's not quite reaching that, but it is getting there. Like the way that he delivers the speech. I mean, come on, man! Dragging the garden tool down his face is the height of like this kind of melodrama. And the two of them, Maddie and Donna, kind of clutching at each other. Regardless of the laugh that I somehow missed on both of my watches, but yeah, there is just the dynamic, and then James hurtling through the door at the last second. I mean, we don't know how he got there. I don't think he's been there before.
He followed Maddie at the double R, so she comes in for the coffee. That woman laughs, and then he gets up and leaves.
Did we see him in the trees like in the previous episode?
No.
Okay, so we didn't know that he was there. Okay.
This is like a surprise, but you have to connect those.
I mean, of
dots.
course, you knew.
Yeah.
We knew when he was leaving the double R that was what was going to happen. I couldn't recall if we had actually seen that setup. So he came in at the perfect time and saved them.
No questions asked. Just knocks into Harold and
knocks him over.
Knocks him over. Poor Harold, and he's just trying to stay clean, keep the place clean.
I know, but Don had to go over it. Then they do get outside. They don't get the diary. Harold keeps that. That's an important point. And then they get outside, and Donna she just goes weak in the knees, just like literally cannot stand up and starts crying. And they cut to Maddie, and she's got a look of what I can only read as like contempt on her face, looking at Donna, which is great. I mean, we're really seeing the dynamics of these people change. Is she contemptuous of Donna for the whole thing? Am I misreading it? Is she, the feelings between her and James and Donna and James and is that part of the triangle? I don't know, but you didn't mention we cut back into the house with Harold spraying his orchids, I guess disinfecting them, and just that scream that he has, and the way that shot is framed behind the glass, it slightly distorts him a little bit. Like it's beautiful.
The man behind the glass, yes.
The man behind the glass.
I have in my notes, we are all Maddie, because I was looking at Donna the way Maddie was looking at Donna.
Yes.
But I do think in the world of Twin Peaks and in her character, and she talks about this later. Like, she's seeing the two of them. She knows that her time, she needs to leave.
Right.
That they're too much. They're both too much. It's all too much. She has to disengage. She is a third wheel.
Yeah.
So she feels uncomfortable. Like, all of a sudden, and Don, again, she's so awful. Like, James, hold me, James. Like, and literally Maddie's sitting there that she dragged out to bring into her terrible nature. But yeah, so I don't see it in the way that I do see it, the way you're like, where she kind of side-eyes her. I don't think it's supposed to be read that way, but I like to pretend that she's looking at her that way too.
Okay, so moving on from here, this is what you had alluded to before, talking about the cinematography. Now we have this the credit sequence extends a little bit further. This actually, the dark branches over the water, this is repeated from the first episode of this season. I had mentioned it at the time that the credit sequence was extended. So, it goes the falls, and we see the river, and then it goes into the episode. In that first episode, it continued right into this scene of the dark water under the branches. So they brought that back again. But then it has this extended slow panning through the trees, blowing in the wind. And I love that. And I just want it on a loop forever. It's so beautiful, and the sound, it's fantastic. Great choice.
Yeah, she gets a wonderful mood. Like, she did that with Cooper's Dreams, right, where she took the footage of the moon, and she took the footage of like the birds flying and when they're discovering the cabin and adding all those elements. And if this scene, if one of those pan overs was in the first episode, the David Lynch one. I imagine it's just like the pilot, first episode of the season. They're shooting a bunch of extra stuff. The directors can then pick from those, and I'm sure she did it. But she does it better, I think, than most of these other directors as far as like picking those scenes, picking those mood pieces, because it really brings you in. And it's a great choice to have that Harold scene and not be running the credits under it.
Absolutely.
Let's pause, and now we can go into it as we.
That's a really, really good point.
Into the bookhouse.
How distracting that would have been on top of it. That's great. Yeah, so we do end up now over at the bookhouse. Cooper arrives with the delirious Audrey.
Great. Also, so she does a lot of movement. I'll probably be talking way too much about her directing style. But when the camera like goes down, it's like that low angle shot as they're putting the Audrey's body down. There's like those vines that are they almost look like horns or vines that are in the ceiling. And you feel like you're being brought into this like cave or like this cocooned area in the woods. I don't know what it is up there. But it sets this weird mood to the whole thing with these vines coming down like she's been rescued from some evil forest. And just the way Sherilyn Fenn plays the scene where she's just talking about, can you find me, daddy? Can you catch me? And she's just reliving all these horrible One-Eye Jack's memories. It's a very interesting, cool scene. I feel like we're hiding in the woods I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how I feel.
No, I mean, I like the idea of a cocoon or being kind of secreted away and safe from the world around her, especially after everything she's just been through. Yeah, I mean, we just see like what a close call it was for Audrey. You see Cooper's concern written all over his face, not hiding any of it or not trying to either. And Audrey, what she's saying here, his tongue so heavy, a hand at my throat, it hurts me. Oh God, like all of that is just the black cold and all of that. But yep, so we're seeing all of that secondhand through her delirium. But back out on the mean streets of the Peaks, James and Donna have a heart-to-heart.
They do. So we're outside. The number on the thing says 937, so I'm assuming it's 937 Pinewood Court. If you're going by the map, the guide of Twin Peaks, where Harold's, that little like bungalow court that Mrs. Tremont and Harold live in, that's near the corner of Pearl Lake Road. And you know how we like to talk about Pearl Lakes.
We do.
I'm not sure what kind of car Maddie's driving, but I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's not the Palmer's car, or at least it's not Leland's car that we see him driving around in Fire Walk with Me or later on in this season. So I guess it's Maddie's car. That's what she drove from.
To get there, maybe?
Yeah, from Missoula. Will Donna and James be together forever? I don't know.
Well, if they could just keep their hearts together and keep them that way forever, Eric, they'd be safe no matter.
Do you, James? Would you, James? Really, James?
The emo James. And then, playing, what's the name of the song? Is it You and Me?
Yeah, just you and I. Yeah, just you and I.
Playing in the background of the whole scene and all. And just that we barely even see Maddie in the scene. We see her in profile in the front seat of the car, driving away. And that's it. Like, there is no regard for her whatsoever. So,
well, in Donna's defense, she does say like, "Oh, I can't believe I did that to her." Like that's how the scene starts.
She says that to James. Do we know that she said it to Maddie though? So it's like, all right,
valid point.
Woof. But yeah. So if Maddie wasn't figuring out that her time was up here in Twin Peaks, I think this is probably it that drew the line. But yeah, not a whole lot there. Just very emo James. Fantastic. But Eric, let's head over to the sheriff's office.
Okay.
Cooper and Harry put the pieces of Jean Renault's plan together, and Cooper recognizes that he's crossed a line. Not for the first time.
Wonderful start to a scene again. We're coming in from above, going down with I guess it's a high angle shot. I'm assuming I'm getting those right. High angle, low angle. Yeah. It always just sets interesting establishing shots, which I love it. You mentioned this is not the first time he's done it. Like he's dealing with all of these consequences that we've been talking about, where he's got this very strict code where he's yelling at Doc Hayward like about murder, and meanwhile he's off to One-Eye Jack's. Hawk kills a guy, throwing a blade at him. It's just it's a good scene. I mean, the important bits to come out of it is we learn more about Cooper's past, right? This is the first hint of the bad things. We know that his heart was broken, right? If we remember back when they were doing the gun range episode in One Arm Man. So we know that his
Yep.
heart was broken, but now we're learning that he did something that he wasn't supposed to do and that someone got hurt because of it. We'll hear more about that later when we meet Gordon Cole. And I
Yep.
do like this scene for Harry because this time Harry's in charge of Cooper. Harry's comforting Cooper. Harry's propping Cooper up, and Harry brings him the coffee. Every other scene we've ever seen, Cooper is, hey, here's a sliding a cup of coffee to you, or he's coming in with donuts, he's coming in with coffee, and now here is Harry giving the coffee to Cooper. So I like that little moment.
That's cool. I didn't catch that. That's really nice symmetry for them, for the characters. Yeah, I got nothing else to add to that. Looking forward to finding out who the someone was and what he did that caused that suffering, but I'm sure we'll get there sooner or later. But for now, let's head back to the Great Northern. Cooper and Ben debrief after Audrey's successful return, and Ben fondles his cash.
Oh, God, does he? Does he? You gotta love Ben. I mean, Richard Bamer plays this scene so well. I love him. Where he's trying to fish out like what Cooper knows without giving up too much. You get the bit of information that's important, like Jean Renault is still at large, so maybe we'll see him again, maybe we won't. We'll have to wait and see. Immediately checking out the money before he's checking on Audrey. One thing that I will say in Ben's defense is I do think there is a hint of genuine emotion when he realizes how far it's gone.
Yeah.
He's still not, he's still cradling the cash at the end of the scene. So he's not changing, but there's a glimmer of a human in there and a father in there for whatever that's worth. So that's all. I don't know.
That was when Cooper tells him that Audrey was nearly killed.
The
with
heroin.
overdose of heroin. Yeah. And
he oh shit.
Well, I think it's interesting. I totally agree with you. I also wonder, is that some of like, oh, that's what I did to Blackie. Like, this is exactly how we ruined and brought someone else low into this, and now that was being done to my daughter. Yeah, I mean, it takes Cooper telling him that Audrey is safe and what had happened for Ben to even mention her. He's more clearly just about all about that money. All about that money. And it's really disgusting. I do love that. Well, I guess I'm not clear, and this is just me maybe, missing some very obvious clues or whatever, but how much does Cooper know about Ben's involvement with Jax at this point?
Oh, at this point, he doesn't know that Ben owns One-Eyed Jax.
Okay. So I'm for me as the audience member, kind of reading into things that are not there at this point. But we definitely know we can assume that Cooper knows that Ben is up to some shady stuff regardless. Obviously, seeing how he is treating the money and not asking about his daughter, all this leads to Cooper having this very obvious, not hiding at all, look of disgust or distaste on his face when he's looking at Ben. And when they come together to like give the hug, and Cooper's just like, doesn't he hesitate before he even like pats him on the shoulder tentatively and like kind of breaks away from the hug. It's a great moment between the two of them.
That moment is great. When they're all three of them are together, like jumping on that, he does another like eye roll to when Ben's being Ben, like, oh, I'm so glad you're back. That matches that. It's just like, it's this building up. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that comes later. Yep. Yeah, he's just the worst. Okay, but we move on from here. Over at the Johnsons, it's a big day as Leo returns, and it seems like he's got something to say about it.
He does. And we got the insurance guy, Ian Abercrombie, from Abercrombie and Finch.
That's what I thought.
He was a huge Twin Peaks fan.
No,
assuming no relation, but he is in Inland Empire as well. He's a great actor. Great. He's an interesting guy. I don't know. Shelley is just, I feel so bad for her. She's so adorable, like when she's happy to get the check and then you just watch the rug get pulled out. And I love with Ian Abercrombie, I don't remember the insurance guy's name, but when the way he moves from like being overly gracious to like, I'll show myself out when he realizes like, he knows what they're up to and they're keeping all the money, the insurance company, they're not going to get anything. The slow zoom though, like the sinister part, like that slow zoom into Leo when he's made the noise,
Mm-hmm.
and then the slow zoom into them is great. It's a great way of handling that. I love it.
Yeah. Just for the completionists out there, Ian Abercrombie plays Tom Brockman.
Okay,
That's
there
his
you
name.
go.
Tom Brockman. Yeah, no, this is great. It's such a weird choice. It can't be coincidental. It's just so strange. The amount of plaid in this scene. He's got this really loud plaid sports jacket. Shelley's dressed in plaid. Leo's got a plaid blanket on him. The whole, entrance of Leo with Bobby pushing him. Does Bobby have a cigarette dangling out of his
I
mouth?
think so,
If he,
yeah.
Okay, I was
Just
gonna say if he
banging into
doesn't,
everything.
he's got the attitude of someone who has. So I didn't know if it was real or just implied. But he's just banging him through the whole thing. It reminds me a little bit the way that it keeps happening and goes on for a long time. Just makes me think of Cooper and Harry in the hospital and the business with the stools and how that goes on forever. I just love, let's just hold this thing much longer than it needs to, and it just gets better as it goes. And just banging him through there. But yeah, I mean, this guy, he does know what's going on. Well, he either knows what's going on or he knows that he's got to get out of there because he's seen this act before where it's like they're expecting this amount of money and it ends up being a tiny percentage of it. Oh, it's the fees and the medical equipment.
Yeah.
I got to go.
Yeah.
So it's like he's a crook too.
Right, he's an insurance guy. Exactly. Like they're in the business not to pay you.
Same. Yeah. But then we do get a little grunt from Leo at the end, which I got to assume is some foreshadowing. Yeah. So I don't know if everything's going to be safe and sound there. Their plan's not going to go in the way they expected it to. But unless you got anything else, we can head on over.
No, I have nothing.
Let's go on over to the interview room at the police station. Donna tells Truman about Laura's secret diary. Harry meets Cooper's boss, and the one-armer is brought in for a chat.
Freaking one-armer.
One-armer is a great line. It's such a great line.
Again, camera work is like lots of coming up, coming down, and this one we're zooming in. It's just really interesting stuff that she's got going on. Donna letting Harry in on the diary. I like the whole the boy who cried wolf thing. Like even the police don't have time for Donna at this point. Gordon Cole arrives, so David Lynch is here, and this time he can't hear, and it's a long story, which I don't think we ever hear about. But all of the information, Albert's not coming back, which maybe he will, maybe he won't. The Vicuna coat, which
sounds delicious.
Yeah, sounds real good, Sheriff, but I already ate. Yeah. We know that the gunman wore that. Now, I had to look up, Vicuna. It's something similar to a llama from South America.
Oh.
But so did a character. Have we seen a character that uses a Vicuna coat that's worn a Vicuna coat? It's up to you to figure that one out. The other thing is, the combo drug, right? That Philip Gerard is taking this weird, deep smelling combo drug, really weird stuff.
Yeah.
And the papers that were found by the bloody rag are pages from a diary. So we knew they were paper of some kind. It was very hard for me not to screw this up and reveal this earlier. But yes, these are diary pages. We know Harold has a secret diary, so that should be something interesting. And just the fact that David Lynch is calling him the one-armer.
It's great. Can we just spend the rest of the year talking about Gordon Cole? I'm so happy that he's finally here. The choice to make him so hard of hearing and to use that hearing aid device, which doesn't feel like a thing that ever actually existed. I'm not saying it didn't, but I've never seen one other than in the show with the headphones in each ear and the big receiver in that whole device it's so maybe it's anachronistic, which is something that we see a lot of Lynch calling back to like the mid-century sort of thing. But that's great. I love that he really gets to play the comedy, and he gets to give so much of it every time he's on the camera. And it's very same joke pretty much each time of like mishearing something or saying something, repeating something someone else already said. But it works so beautifully, and I could just watch it all day. He's wonderful. I don't know if there's anything else that I want to mention other than that. But it's terrific.
No, it's great. And and finally we're going to get to see him more, first appearance, so enjoy it. And it's cool that like what it must have been like for her to direct this episode and then direct the person who created or co-created the show. Like that's kind of cool too, to have him in the different role than he normally. And he's a really good actor. Like he's fantastic.
Great. Yeah,
He's great.
He is completely that character. If you didn't know that he was David Lynch, if Jim was just an actor, you wouldn't suspect.
Hello, it's Eric. Welcome to the midpoint. You didn't realize there'd be a midpoint, but here we are at the midpoint. I want to take a minute and thank some of the Black Lodge members that have joined us in the Red Room. Who we thanking today? We're thanking Banjo Track. We're thanking Dawn Adamo. We're thanking Gregory Flanagan. And we are thanking Chuck Suffle. I may want all my Garmonbosia, but you will have my heart forever. How did they get here? How did they get a shout out like this? Because they have joined our Patreon, which is available right now. You get access to the Pink Room, where we have a discussion of the cast of Twin Peaks on Donahue, and the Wild at Heart episode of Club Silencio has just launched, so you're going to want to listen to it. You just have to put a couple dollars down. It is free, too. You can also join for free, and you should be able to use the chat and to communicate with all the members, and you can ask us questions, and we'll do Ask Me Anythings and whatever you want. It's an open community that I'm figuring out as we go. So that's it. So if you want to go and you want to support the show, go to ericgrissom.com/meanwhile, and you should see a link for the Patreon there. All right, let's get back to the proper episode.
Eric, let's head back to the bookhouse.
Take me to the bookhouse.
I'm heading there so we can check in on Audrey. She and her old dad are reunited.
One note with the bookhouse, because I forgot to mention, I think when you first go to the bookhouse, I just love the look of the bookhouse, like the external establishing shot of the bookhouse with all the bikes in front of it, and it's so small. It looks, speaking of Doctor Who, like it's like a TARDIS. It looks like a tiny building, and then when you get in it, it looks way bigger than it's supposed to be.
And they really emphasize it because they take their time. I think it's like they're pulling back from inside, so you kind of reveal the entire thing. So you see all the books on the shelves and everything. The first time you come to the bookhouse, they really take their time to get to the bed where Audrey gets laid down. It's very cool.
You've got the high school bookhouse boys also in the background. Either it's this scene or the previous scene. You got like Joey Paulson hanging out in the back there. Sherilyn Fenn and Richard Beamer are fantastic in the scene, working off of each other, like both saying one thing, but the subtext and what's being implied is this whole other drama at play here, which is wonderful. Cooper, I mentioned it before, like when you were talking about how he could tell Ben's full of shit, is he does like this eye roll or whatever when Ben's doing his bullshit. And her, I saw so much. We'll sort it out together, like all of that tension, because Ben is in trouble and Ben's not a good guy, and fire Ben and all of these things. And he's just freaking out, and like when Audrey's trying to get the ride from him and he's like, oh, let's just go together, because he's afraid of what she'll say when he's not around. It's awesome. Great scene.
It's true. Yeah, absolutely. He's just such a creep and just laying it on so much. I mean, it's not just that, whatever he's saying, Cooper's rolling his eyes. It's that it's to the most ridiculous extreme. Every raindrop, every sunset, he's going to cherish now. It's like, oh, get the hell out of here. Like, everyone must have been groaning. But it's great. I love Audrey. She's got it, like, basically, like, got a dagger up her sleeve, and she knows that she's got to use it at some point. She's just ready to reveal all this with Ben, and the head to head that they're coming towards is fantastic. So,
and it's got to be so hard for Cooper too, because he has genuine feelings for her, and to see her father treat her that way, anybody you care about, and you see somebody that's bad for her, that's hard. It's hard for him not to want to step in. Even if it's a platonic relationship or romantic relationship or whatever.
Oh yeah. Case. Caring in whatever manner it is, and maybe he's not even clear, but yes, he definitely has feelings. We can head on over to Big Ed's house. Nadine's home from a shopping trip and realizes they can make out anywhere they want because her parents are out of town. Eric.
Okay. Super strength is getting a little intense.
It sure is.
And her libido, which will increase. I know it's funny. Wendy Roby is funny. Her and Big Ed together, fantastic. Everett McGill. Yeah. So I enjoy them. It's on the edge of like, and it's gonna get crazier.
Right.
But it's okay. I'm still into it. I still like these two. I could watch them. So God bless them. But it's so close to like where you're like, okay, come on, where are we going?
I totally know what you mean. I feel the same way. They are great, and they therefore make this good. But on its own, the side plot is just it's not going anywhere yet, and it just feels like an interruption of everything else that's going on.
This is
and
the
not
best
in a
of
way
that side plot.
Okay, so I'm not super excited, and it's brief.
Well, I
so
don't
it
know.
doesn't
Yeah,
really-
I don't know. I don't know. We'll cover it
sure,
later.
sure. Well, we will. But I'm just saying, like, it's not doing a lot. It's very short, and it just feels like interruption, as opposed to like it definitely feels like it's leading someplace on its own that is also interesting. It's fine, but they're wonderful. The punch and his reaction to it, and she's completely like oblivious to it because she's just seeing nothing but, I don't know, red hearts everywhere. She's ready to jump on him. When she lands on top of him on the sofa, and his like surprised, exasperated look whenever she like basically dives onto his face. It's
very funny.
wonderful.
She's
yeah,
great.
it's great. Well, if they're great, we got another pairing
no.
over here that's maybe not so
Josie
great.
and Jonathan.
Oh my God! Over at the what is it, Blue Pine Lodge, over at the Packard's house, Josie and Jonathan catch up and make their plans for a return to Hong Kong.
Yeah, I mean, poor Josie. She's used by men. Just as she uses those around her, she is just another plaything for some of these guys. Jonathan, what are we gonna do with you? You're peeping in the windows. Now you're treating her like trash. Talking about how she was used to these fine clothes, and you really lavished yourself. And then which does some interesting backstory character stuff with her, because for me, it's like you get the sense that she came from poverty or she came from nothing, and now she's used to these things that she never had before. So you get a little bit more sort of backstory or characterization for Josie, which is good. I don't know. Josie likes Harry. I think you can find that from this scene. We had a little bit of that before when he was asking about Harry, and she's like, he means nothing to me, and he's like, I didn't ask you. So you get more of that. I like that she keeps holding on to this arrangement, and she's quickly realizing she has no power. It doesn't matter. The arrangement's going to change based on what Jonathan says, or to the bigger point, Mr. Eckert.
Right. I mean, he's just given this ultimatum: we leave tonight or I kill him. So, I had some question before of how much of Josie's relationship with Harry was just using him, get close to the sheriff and stay ahead of things, or how much she actually really felt for him. And I think it's obvious through this episode, if no other place, that she really does care for him. Love, I don't know, but definitely is trying to protect him by keeping him out of this and doing what Jonathan says. But that final shot in this scene where Jonathan comes up behind her and has his paws over her lips, it's just so terrible.
Jonathan.
He's rotten.
I think the Josie and Harry thing is a bit of a rom-com vibe, right? The original intention was to just use him to sick Ben on, or to cover her base with Ben, and she could feed the Ben and Catherine. But over the course of the deception, she fell in love. Like, you could have a wonderful rom-com adventure, and then he finds out, but no, I really love you. And then, it doesn't go in that direction, but hey, guys, it could.
It could have. It could have in a different world.
All right, take us to the dock by the lake. We're going to Easter Park, I believe.
James meets Maddie, who tells him it's time for her to go.
Yeah, Maddie's leaving, so it's sad to see her go. As I mentioned many times, I'm a big fan of the character. I like Cheryl Lee, so hearing she's going to be leaving town is sad. It's a great scene. I love Cheryl Lee in the scene. I think James Marshall's good in the scene. Mm-hmm. James felt something, and so did Maddie, and it feels like for two people breaking up or saying that they don't have any chemistry or anything going on, it seems like they're about to hook up at any minute.
It really does.
Like, way more than I get from when she's with Donna, but whatever. I don't know. I like when she says, now I'm just me again, because we keep talking about how she's falling into this dream and becoming more like Laura. And now she's getting out of this toxic situation, and she can be herself again. So I don't know. I agree.
I mean, I think she seems so much happier now that it seems like she's made the decision, like, that's it, I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. And this is also, we've been in a lot of dark scenes at night, or in the sheriff's office, or in the bookhouse, all these dark scenes. Now we're in like most brilliant, beautiful sunshine, and she just seems lighter and happier. And they're being honest with each other. They both have feelings, but James feels that he's is really meant to be with Donna, is going to try to hold on to that feeling. And Maddie just feels like, okay, this is it. I can finally, she explains this even more, that she felt like that she and Laura were scary close, and that she could feel her thoughts and really enjoyed. Like, I like how she expresses that she liked actually being Laura for a bit in a certain way, that the way that she was looked at, especially the way that James saw her as Laura, she really enjoyed that. But now she just gets to be herself again. I don't know if she says gets to be or has to be or just is.
Now I'm just me again.
Yeah, I don't know if she's relieved to be, but I would assume at some point, like, being resigned, this is the right decision to get out of there. And man, it's been a while, so you got to get out of this town.
But it's like, she's living a fantasy. We see her, she's got glasses. She's more of like a bookish type. Her cousin is super popular. The homecoming queen, all these guys like her. So she got, she gets to be that. And then she's like, this isn't me. I got to be me. It's a beautiful, beautiful setting too. So this is like, the gazebo is somewhere off to the side. So it's just it's a kind of a neat little moment.
Yeah, it's a great moment. Let's see. At Ben's office, he and Josie negotiate her payment, and they each discuss their leverage over the other.
To the fire, they toast. Yeah, Ben, what's up with you?
In front of the fire, too. Yeah.
I like the scene. I feel like it's just a fun scene. I feel like they both are having a lot of fun with their characters at this point. I don't know. I don't really have anything. They're covering their bases. The fact that he's like, oh, I've got this on you. Oh, yeah, I've got this on you. We'll be buried side by side. It's cool. I mean, I don't know. I like it.
That moment is that is the scene, is when they're inches from each other's face and he's got the key in his hand and she explains that she's got and they both like just start like actually laughing. Like, we look what we did to each other. They actually seem to really enjoy that they got this on each other. It's really good. She's wonderful in this scene because she has that moment, then she's like trying to negotiate the money, and she realizes that maybe she can get it and get out of there, and it's over, and she kind of ends up getting what she wants. But Ben signs over the check from the Bank of Tokyo.
The Takamura check, that he had gotten as down payment. And it's like she really needed a win, and so here's her check.
Yeah.
It was good.
Let's see. It's Leo's homecoming party, Eric. It's in full swing. We got kazoos, we got streamers, balloons, cake, and foreplay. It's fantastic.
We got animated GIFs every time it's someone I know's birthday. You can just send that thing out. I love this party. It's got the Weekend at Bernie's vibe before Weekend at Bernie's.
Sure does.
Bobby with the two hats on his ears is just a goofball. I also like that they have a clown decoration, like a clown painting on the wall. So I imagine that Leo was into clowns, so he had this, because we've seen Jacques had pictures of clowns all over his apartment, and maybe that was the thing that they would talk about when they were doing coke all night.
Oh, maybe it was a present from Jacques. Jacques gave it to him. Oh, that'd be so nice.
I think both Dana and Machen are fantastic in the scene, and like they have such good chemistry, the two of them. And like when Bobby's going over all the great highlights of Leo, like how he's a wife abuser and a murderer, it's just like they work really well. And obviously the funny joke with the candles and his look to her and her laugh is awesome. I don't want to exploit him or anything, is funny, but the head tilt is so scary. Like when his head tilts and because you're hearing the kazoo just go over his labored breathing, and then he does that look and he goes and it's at the moment where they're going at it, and she's the most vulnerable, losing herself to the passion, to the moment, and then in that state is when he's looking at her, and it's just it just works really well.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, the decision to have the kazoo hanging out of his mouth, so you just hear it with his breathing, the entire scene is fantastic. It's so good. And Leo going face first into the cake is a nice thing as well. Back at the sheriff's, Cooper and Gordon Cole have a quiet conversation about Pittsburgh, and an opening move is played.
Agent Dale Cooper!
It's awesome that like Gordon is not looking, and he picks up on Cooper Cooper is not looking and points and like both of them at the same time. It's so great. And the two of those, the chemistry of both of them, which you learn, both off the set and on the set, like there's so much dynamics between the two of them. I love it. You get a big sort of exposition drop that is done really well to sort of paint a little bit more color to that picture of what happened to Cooper in the past. And we're going to hear about Wyndham Earl. He's now playing this chess move. We've talked a bit about Wyndham Earl. He's been hinted at. We knew that he flew the coop. And here he is with this chess move. So he is an interesting character. We're just slowly sort of feeding that. You get the sense that as we wind down this Laura Palmer mystery, that is going to be the next thing to go. Small Mexican Chihuahua.
Cooper, you remind me today of a small Mexican Chihuahua.
My best take on what that is is just that like he is small because all this crazy stuff around him. And so he seems very like vulnerable in this big crazy world. Just kind of I don't know what it means. I think even in The Return, I'm trying to remember, isn't there a Mexican Chihuahua that locates a body in the... I don't know. When we get to The Return, we can revisit that. But that's my only take, other than it being very funny. Because even Cooper's like, well, you got to tell me what this Mexican Chihuahua means. And he's like, we got other problems, Coop.
Right. Yeah, he's just going to mention it and not explain it at all. And also his pronunciation of Chihuahua is fantastic. This is the scene where they're having the quiet conversation in the room together, and Harry pokes his head in and is like, I just got to let you know we can hear everything you're saying. It's so great. It's great. We do get not a thumbs up from Cooper, but we get an A-OK and an OK sign, which is a departure, but not a small detail, but maybe important. I don't know. And I do love that we're setting up this Wyndham Earl thing, and that we have Harry on one side of him, Cole on the other, and Gordon's like, we're gonna have to watch your back, Coop.
Yeah.
So like if the his boss from the FBI is concerned about this, then we know that he's in a whole lot of danger. It's great, ratcheting up the tension.
Right, and we know that other guy, Wyndham Earl, is an FBI agent himself, or a former FBI agent. So he is. If we know how elite Cooper is, then this guy's on the same level or higher.
Yep.
One note about Albert, like just the comment that Albert's worried about you. So like whatever happened before was pretty bad enough that Albert is worried about him, and it builds more of their friendship that he's worried about him, he cares about him. So we're going to learn about what happened in Pittsburgh at some point.
Well, that's for another time, but for now we'll head back to the Great Northern, where Leland and Ben discuss how Leland can help manage the competing Iceland and Japanese offers.
Yeah, this scene is very funny, where Leland's like picking the stuffed fox,
the fur, yeah,
and the snapping. Like Ben's desperately, he's in trouble, right? Because his brother is away. He's got this thing potentially brewing with his daughter. What did she see? What didn't she see? He needs somebody, and he's just like, please show me something that I can work with. And he's sitting there picking the white fox, which is great. But then, Leland snaps out, and he comes through. He's almost 100. He was 110% back. So I don't know. He looks like he's on top of things.
Yeah, I mean, he just comes up with a series of steps that they can do to try to delay things and buy some time, and could put it into escrow for something. Like he's definitely in the game there, but he's not.
Somebody says Cayman Islands, and you sound pretty like you know what you're talking about.
Yep. And I do like that the way that the scene ends, and they're both like excited about this, and they don't really know if they should hug or shake hands. Yeah. They just end up like standing next to each other and awkwardly patting each other's shoulders. It's good.
It's a good moment for Leland because he's been down, and he's literally on trial for the murder of Jacques and everything that happened with Laura, and he's been sort of a disaster. And it's like now he's sort of getting that. A little something for him. Yeah. But I like that moment where he's genuinely happy to have him back.
Right. For now, we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, at the Blue Pine Lodge, Harry arrives just in time to find Josie heading back to Hong Kong with her assistant, Mr. Lee.
Yeah, I just feel bad for Harry. He's just losing it.
Terrible.
I don't. other than that, it's just, you would think like with all the stuff that Josie does, she introduces Jonathan as her assistant. When she talked to Pete, it was her cousin. So it's like, pick one and just stick with it, because now you've got an inconsistency already in your who Jonathan is.
Yeah, but she's already got one foot on the stairs to the plane, so yeah, she's out of there. Yeah, and it really is like it's heartbreaking for Harry to say not once but twice and not have it repeated or any acknowledgement of it that I love you, Josie. And she at the most she could do is just pause and keep on moving.
Yeah.
So it's really rough, but it does seem that she really is genuine about her emotions for Harry. At least in that moment, she is. So, oh, Josie. Well, Eric, in the dining room at the Great Northern, Ben Horn and Mr. Tojimura get to know each other, and Pete tries to make a friend.
Yeah, so you just get Ben just trying desperately to buy time with Mr. Tojimura. I could do without this whole subplot, the whole Mr. Tojimura subplot. Like a lot of this stuff with the, especially the first part of season 2, because you've got giants giving you clues, right? You got it without chemicals. He points. You've got men in smiling bags, and the whole time you're getting through these scenes. And I can still remember with my sister and her boyfriend John, just watching, and there's only so like you're always watching the clock, to when it's gonna end, and you're like, just get me. And this episode is one of the best for that. And when I'll save it for the last scene.
Sure.
Because they hit you with something at the end and you're like, holy crap, and there's only like minutes left on the clock. So I always find the Mr. Tajimura Ben part, it's like, okay, I just want to get through that. I just want to get through this. But the thing that I do love about this is, we had talked about it before with Leland. He comes up, he's put money in escrow, he's running things through the Caymans, and then he's just singing in the singing in From the King and I, right? And then how he pulls Ben into it and forces him to sing with him with with the whatchamacallit, the Great Northern audiences are the best in the world. I don't know. You get to see Trudy on piano. I think I mentioned it before. If not, that is Bob Engels' wife. Right. So it's always cool to see her in there, and him putting scenes for her, and the scripts that he's on is very cute, and she's great. I'm always happy to see Trudy behind the keys or serving coffee. I don't know. I don't have much. I don't have much for this. This is like, we got to get through this scene to get to the next scene. Please get me to the next scene.
At least, I totally agree. I'm here for the mythos. I'm here for the big story arc. But we do get these moments. We get Pete is great. You're not from around here, are you? How'd you deduce that, Pete? No, I'm a visitor. Can I buy you a sake? I mean, it's just it's fantastic. At first he turns around and is like, the King and I. Like, he'd been trying to think of it. Like, what is this from? And he finally says, it's just, Pete's being Pete. He offers a glass of milk, wants to be friends, and it's nice. But now we get to the final scene. I think this is the one that we've all been waiting for. We're back at the sheriff's office. This time we got Cooper, Harry, Hawk, and Cole all interviewing Mr. Gerard, the one-armer. And interviewing Mike.
It wasn't me. Don't you understand? It wasn't me.
Give him the drug, Chief. Not yet.
If we give him the drug, Coop, you'll never see the other side.
Give him the medicine.
There is no need for medicine. I am not in pain.
Who are you?
Oh, it's so good. Like, just it starts out, so you're at eye level with Phil Gerard, and then the camera just sort of goes up and down onto him, and like it's just, you just feel all this tension as he's freaking out without his medicine, and you've got Harry, like you got to give him the medicine, and you're watching how far they'll go. We just talked about how far you're going outside of your jurisdiction, your code. They are pushing this guy to the edge. He could die from this. We don't know what this stuff is. It's some kind of haloperidol combo drug. Real weird stuff. I don't know what this is going to do to this guy's heart. But even Gordon Cole's like, if we don't get this now, like Gordon Cole's also in on this. Like he's seeing this thing through, hits his boss, and he's like, "Yeah, sure. Without chemicals, he points. I'm down. Let's just see what happens when we rob this guy of his meds." But this freaked me out. I can still remember watching this particular episode because you're waiting. You're like, I can want to see Donna crying. I don't want to see Ben talking to Mr. Tajimoro. And then you get to the scene, and it's like it's not long. And it's right at the end, and what they start, and for me, I'm thinking it's Ben. Ben's clearly all this fire stuff, and like now, and you get this clue, man. So I don't know what you think is going to happen when you start hearing about how it's the Great Northern, or a room with many rooms alike. And I remember that too, with like a different traveler every night. And before Cooper says it, you're like, it's the Great Northern. But they don't even give you enough time to be happy that you solved that very basic riddle.
Right.
And then they show you a picture of the Great Northern in case you had it on mute. But God, Mike's line.
He is Bob, eager for fun. He wears a smile. Everybody run.
He is Bob, eager for fun. He wears a smile. Everybody run. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's good.
And we've been talking about like the host bodies and parasites, and now you really sort of lay it out. Like, how does Bob work? How does Mike work? You learn that he feeds on fear and the pleasures, and they are his children. And we learn that they were similar, and that he sort of inhabited this body. Then he had this revelation. He sees the face of God. He cuts the arm off of his host body, but then he sticks around with it because it's a pretty good body. I don't know. I just love it. I love this is whole world, and we know Mike is trying to stop Bob. We kind of knew that already, but this is my purpose. This is why I'm here.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't know. I could just keep saying this is good, but it's just so good. When you're in the middle of a show and good shit like this is happening and it's cooking, and there's like 3 minutes, like you can't beat that. You can't beat that. And you freak out because you're like, I got to wait a week. Like what are we going to do for a week? Man.
Right. And even us, like I'm waiting a week between each one too. So, okay. Totally agree with all that. Although, is it explaining too much? I know that at this point we want answers. We've gone through a short first season, so now we're whatever it is episodes into this now. We want to get more pieces of like how these things work. But the way that he's really explained the mechanics of it is, I like it because I want to know how it all works together. But is it like showing too much of how this all fits together? Just a question. I don't know. I mean, obviously you love it, so it's working for you.
It's so out there that I feel like you need something because, for some people, like, oh, is Bob a ghost that's going to appear? Like, you have to know Bob is in someone. And if you didn't,
right.
So I don't know. I take your point though. I mean, I think if this was in The Return or something, it wouldn't probably be as drawn out as that.
Right.
But I don't know. It didn't hit me wrong.
But, pairing this with it's nice because it now is explaining some of the things that we've had from like the giant and the dreams. So it's, now it's really making that whole owls are not what they seem very explicit, even though it's been explained visually in the past. Now we're really, the parasite and the host. We do get some additional information that I'm not sure was in the dream in the pilot or not, but, or in the movie version, but, that, Bob was his familiar as well, which to me is like, he's less than Bob. Mike is more than Bob. If someone's you always think of a witch's familiar being a cat, or it's like a demon that is in thrall to the master. So it makes me think that Bob is in thrall, or that Mike somehow is more in control than Bob is.
I take that familiar as friend, someone I know.
Interesting.
They ran around together and murdered people, and they had the bloodlust together, and they were going after the Garmonbozia and really just being hellraisers. And then he sees the light of thing, cuts his arm off, and then is trying to stop him.
Well, okay, I could definitely see that. Something to maybe give another point for the way why I'm seeing this is he also says that he and Bob are similar in this way. Which is a change from the script as well, or at least a version of the script that says that they're the same. And instead, in this case, it says they're similar, which makes me think like maybe they are similar in some ways, but that Mike is somehow different and stronger, better, whatever than Bob was.
Yeah, I wouldn't go by the script either. Sometimes the script is done and then Mark Frost is like, no, it's got to be this, and that was always the intent, and then this was a line that like someone else wrote, like, so you can't necessarily use it.
Absolutely. I like it though, because it's all, if we're talking about like how the stories are made and how things just serendipitously happen, and I don't think that any of this is necessarily wrong, but the way that you say it differently. So there's nothing like wildly different, but just small changes that I think were interesting. One as well as like Cooper says, and where does Bob come from? And in a version of the script, Mike says there are indications that we come from another world, but in what he says in the show is this is something that can't be revealed, which I like so much better because it ties back to the giant, and there are some rules. He can't come out and say exactly the things. He has to give a cryptic riddle because that's what he's allowed to do. He can't tell him these other things. So I like that this idea that there are these rules, and we're not going to get to find out right now. So that was really cool. Yeah, and then there's just that moment when Bob is talking about, I have to stop him. This is his true face. If you can see it, the gifted and the damned. And he says that to camera is great. Just, it's very unusual that they look down the barrel at all in this. And that he says it right to the audience is really fun. So I enjoyed that a lot. And then also just the last thing is that for me is the sound design too. As Mike is, as Mr. Gerard is turning into Mike, and he's writhing in the chair, it sounds like there's some distortion on his voice, and then the sound is like a saxophone in the background, just almost screaming, and it's so unsettling, and it's so loud in the mix. It's great. It just makes everything feel so frantic. And Gordon Cole is just like, if we got to hold out, because if we give him the shot, you're never gonna see where it's going. So like they're really pushing him. It's fun. It's such a cool scene. And yes, then we get to land on the Great Northern. And I think you said it exactly right. They gave you just enough time as an audience to put the very simple pieces together before Cooper does. So you can feel like a real champ, but it's like very obvious.
And then you get that shot at the Great Northern. So it's great. And so we know Ben's in the Great Northern. So that's exciting.
We sure do.
But yeah, this is it. Yep. We're here. We got to the end. And next week we will know... know the identity, and it's not the end of the storyline. Like there's some really good bangers after that, a couple of them before we end our first part.
Oh my goodness.
But this is the next one is such a wonderful episode. I love it.
Fantastic. Can't wait.
Thank you for listening to the Meanwhile podcast with Dan Johnson and Eric Grissom. If you would like to support the Meanwhile podcast, join our Patreon. It's available right now. You can sign up, and for just a few dollars a month, you can keep this show going, and you can get access to some exclusive podcasts and some secret stuff that you're not going to find anywhere else. So if you'd like to join, go to ericgrissom.com/meanwhile and look for the Patreon link. If you like our show, please consider rating and reviewing the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're hearing this now. Meanwhile is produced by Eric Grissom and Where's My Robots? The Meanwhile theme song is written and performed by Paul Finn and Evening Pines. If you want to let us know what you thought of the show, you can reach Dan at danjnj.com, both on the web and on Blue Sky. Eric can be found on Blue Sky at ericgrissom.com, which is also his website. It's also me, right? That's weird. We'll see you again. And in the meantime, be good.
Listen to the sounds.
Meanwhile.
Where's my robots, you know?